start recording. Okay guys, so we'll continue. All right, so again we're going to continue from our study work, props. So what we did, right, study, we had, remember, we start from the simple variables, then we convert into object, and then we move the whole object, right, in our main component, app component, and then we pass this object as a data here. Okay, so the same, I will not, right now I'm not going to create something new, right? I'll just, to explain the props, I will just do some change here. Okay, so let's add all this, right, like image, title, author, date, and price as a props here. Props is nothing but a property, right, adding to your component. So from where? From your parent, right? Let's say data is in the parent component right now, app component. Now you're going to pass this data to your child component, the product component. Okay, so what I will do, I'm gonna, so the first one is what? Image, right? So let's do the same thing. Image equal to, right, and then you pass your, because this is in the object, so how you pass the data now? This is called book dot image, right? Image, simple. Yeah, next is what? Title. So I have one property now, image. The next will be title equal to, right, and you can pass it again inside the book object. You have title, clear, and then you have author, right? So you can go author, just give the same name, equal to, and from book I'm gonna call the author, right, author, and it's too much data, right, but anyway, so author, then I'm gonna put date equal to, and pass the book dot date. Okay, and next one is price, so let's add the price, and we have book dot price, clear. So that's how you can pass the props, right? This is, props is nothing but the property you are passing to your component. So the data is in the parent component inside the app, right? See, now you call your product component, okay, from somewhere to display inside the app. Basically app can see the, what is app, right? App component, what is this? This component can render or return something, okay, that is HTML, correct? So we are returning this product. So and inside the product you are passing all this data, right, all these properties, image, title, author, date, and price. Okay, let's go to the product now, right? So the product is returning all this HTML. See that? See what happened, right? The component means what? It can return HTML, simple. Always component will return HTML. The only thing is how you pass your data. So in this case we are taking data as a props. So what is props now? So here you call the props, and props is an object. Okay, object. So I will show you now, right? See, right now it will give me error. Okay, so let me run this code and then check. So React, let's see what is the project, my app, right? cd my app and npm start. Oh, npm run dev, right? Development. So it's gonna give me error because I'm not passing the data properly right now. Okay, so if you look at here, there is bunch of error, right? So reading image is not correct, fine. But one thing I want to show you now, right? Look at this object. Okay, this object. So what is that object? Let's go side by side, right, and then try to understand before I keep moving left and right all the time. Okay, so I don't have to move now. It's much more better. Okay, so this object is what? See the console log here, what I have done, console log props. So the props is the object. Okay, that's the object, and look at what is here. See, now that's the object, means what? Props is the object, means it's inside the curly bracket, right? And there is author, date, image, price, and title. All these are the props object. I hope that is clear now. You can see the object here. It is just like this. The props is something like this now, like this, right? And all the name, the property name, remember the property name we added, right? Like image, title, author, date, and price. These are the property, see, author name, right, of the object. So it's like a, it's like an image colon, some link here. And then you have a, like a title, some colon. So what is object, right? Curly bracket with all this property. That's it. That is what happened. That is what happened when you pass any property to your component. So this is a property, that's the value, and it just creates the object inside your component, and that is the object name is props. That's it. You call this props, and that is the object. So now I can do props dot image right here. I just need props dot image. Simple. So it will tell me, right, the what is that? It's a missing props validation. So yeah, I mean, now before it was not, there was no error like this, right? But now we have to define what kind of data is this. The validation, it will fail, right? So there is a props type. You have to define all that. But let's first, for now, let's not worry, right? Let's not worry that. So see, if I bring the cursor, React props type, right? Any. So we have to, I think, define here, So maybe we're gonna look at that in our. I think we have to maybe look at that now. This is really, I think, getting important, So we have to add the validation, right? By, I think better will be like a TypeScript. So maybe in the end, right, we're just gonna learn some TypeScript and learn how to validate our data before passing something, right? You can define your data. This is a string or number. You have to pass that one, okay? So that is one thing we can do. Okay, for now, right, let's leave it. I have to find some solution for this, how to validate. Maybe here itself we can validate the props. There was props dot type, right? I think there was something to define, we can define here. I just don't remember exactly, but anyway, but for now, just remember this is a object, and from there you can read the all property, okay? So now it is props dot title, right? Props dot title, same thing, and then you have props dot author. Props dot author. So this is another way you can handle, right? Either you pass the whole object, or you can do that as well, but simply just understand that what is props and how it works, okay? So we can do props dot price. Props dot price, simple. Now, right, if we look at our code here, refresh this, look at now, it's just added now, right? Everything is here now, see? So I hope everyone is clear on the props now, how it works, right? When you pass something to your component as a property and value, this will create object. That object you can receive from this component. Whichever component you passing the property, in that component you pass this props parameter, right? And that becomes the object for all the property you pass. Now once you have object, you know how to use that, right? Object dot property name, object dot property name. So now I'm sure you guys are clear on this one now, 100%. Anyone has any doubt on this now? Props? No? Okay. So anywhere now you see, right, something is passing. One more thing I want to explain now, okay? The props can be only passed from higher to lower, right? Let's say you call the product here, okay? You call the product, right, to the app component now, app here. So inside this one you can pass the properties. Now let's say I want date and price, right, pass to different component now, which will be added to the product here. So how am I going to do that? Means that is called prop drilling, right? So you have a data inside the app component. Now you need to pass this data to the different component, different child component. So how are we going to do that? So So let's look at that right quickly. So I will just create, maybe let's call it let's call this author, date and price, right? Okay, these three things. So I will just create author now. Okay, the component called author, right? Author.js. Clear? React arrow function, simple. Now in this component I'm gonna display three things. So look at now the problem. I don't want to mess up our CSS. Okay, so let's check now, right? So let's see, these two, right? These two is together. Yeah, they are in the same line, right? So author and date. Clear? So let's put these two, right? These two. So I'm gonna import author now inside the product. Import author. Okay, and you're gonna use the author somewhere here, right? Inside here. Yeah, so let's do that. Author, right? Simple. Or yeah. So let's add that author here. Fine. Now I need these two, right? These two things to be, now it is the part of author. So let's go back and put in the author now. So I'll just add here that two item, right? Simple. Now I can style it here, or maybe I can change this to fragment and let the other div handle, right? So I need to pass this author and date now. Author and date. So that will be props. It will be props here again, but I need to pass the props now. So go back here and inside author. So there is an author, right? Correct? Remember author equal to, and where are we getting that author from? From this props.author. Yeah, and similarly you have the date, right? Equal to, you have to pass that props.date. Props.date. Clear? Now let's go back, right? Props.date. So once we do that, things will be fine. Now let's look at here. So we have props.date and props.author. This is the props, because now it's gonna make, this will be again the object. This props is an object, right? And from there you displaying that author and date. See what happened here. I hope that is clear now. Just ask me that if there is any confusion, because that is called passing the props from parent to the child. So let's see if everything looks same, right? Yeah, everything is exactly same, no different. Okay, so now I see the price is dropped down. No, that is okay, because author is here and the date is here, same line. So we still, the reason I removed that div, right? The reason I removed that div, so that only the paragraph will be passed to the the product here, right? When I say author, that means two paragraph, that's it, and still this div will handle the flex. So it is still in the same, same, like in the same line, right? Same row. So that is called props drilling. You passing the data from app to the product, and from product you are passing data to your author now. Author. So you cannot do from app directly to the author. You cannot do that one, right? You cannot do that. You must go through, right, the channel. So app has product, so you pass there, then from product you're gonna pass to author, because author is used inside the product, right? Product. Clear now? So you gotta see something, but just try to understand. MJ, that's clear? I'm again asking any doubt on this now. I hope I explained properly, right? So there will be situation where you're gonna face something like this. So that's why last time I saw you, right? Let's say in this example, let's go down, right? This component now. See, there are so many components. See, the app has what? Navbar, sidebar, main component, footer. The navbar has two things: profile and other link. There is two component. Sidebar has covin and quotes. Main component has stories. Then there is feed. Feed has again two component: following and public. Public has single post. Then in the single post you may have comment like, comment and share. These are the things component. See, so these are the child component. For single post there are 3 child, right? So let's say if I need to pass some data from app to the single post, how I gonna pass now, right? So I have to pass to the main component because main is inside the app. Then there I have to pass to the feed. Then from feed I have to pass to the following, and following it will go to the single post. So that's a lot of work, right? And that is not a good solution. That's why there is a hooks to manage the state, like to manage your data in the global, right? Somewhere in the global, and then you have access to that data anywhere inside your app. Okay, so that's the reason for the state management, the Redux, maybe use context and all that, right? So we will learn about that later, right? I mean in the future, right? Very soon. That's the reason. See, this is the one example how the components are created and nested and all that. Okay, these all boxes are the function, the component, and they all do some different work, right? Just remember that. Okay guys, so I hope that is enough for the props. You guys can, if you need more help, you can just do some research, look at that, right? But if you practice that one, just understand, right? Component, pass the property, and go back to your child component again, and there you get the props. You can destructure. There is something called destructure, remember that. So destructure, how it works, right? So in the product here, how many things I'm getting? Image, title, author, price, right? And date. So this is the object. Okay, so you can destructure that directly here. You just put the curly bracket, that's the object, and you put image, title, author, price, what else? So image, title, author, date, date also, right? Let's add date. Okay, all that's it. This is this structure now, right? Now you don't have to do this props. You just put the image now, you put the title now, you put the author now, and you put the date, and you put the price, and it will work perfectly. So we don't have props anymore, right? I can delete that and save, and let's look at our code now, right? So same, see that? No different. So that is destructuring of object. Remember that. If you have something in object, you can destructure. So this whole thing is a props. That is a object. So this structure there in place, So this is same like image colon image, same like image, because it's the same name, right? When the property name and value is same, you do the image colon image like that. Okay. But in destructuring, you don't have to do all this. If the same name, just put it like this, single one word, right? Okay, similarly you can destructure here also, right? So that is what the props, that is the object. So you can delete that, and you are getting author and date, right? So you just put author and date, and you no need to put any more this props here. Just call the variable now, right? And it will work perfectly. So there is something wrong. I don't know why it's giving error. So AUT.
The spelling error.
Okay, yeah, good. Thank you. Okay, so now it's fine. So that is one thing you're gonna see. Now you always, when you have an object, and you need to use the variable from object, so you have to do object dot something, object dot something. So you can, basically, let's say we will have done that also in another way, right? For example, this is the easy way, but let's say you have props here, props, right? Then you can do const like this, and what you need, author, right? Author comma date. You see sometimes similar to this also, right? And you can call the props object, yeah, author and date, right? And done. So these are the two variables which is holding our data from the object now. So that is another way you can handle it. Okay, so these two things you have to remember. You're going to use all the time now, right? So okay, so there is error now. What is the error? Why, right? Props. Why is giving error? Man. Yeah, there is something I did wrong.
Try, can you props.item? I think it should be props.item.
No, the props is the object, right? So we just try to destructure that one, So the props is just the object, nothing there is no item, right, inside. This, you mean props, you're saying props.item, right? Item. But there is, this props is only the object. So this will work, this will work, right? I don't know why it did not work. So invalid JS syntax, right? Fine. Yeah, but this is also destructure, I mean, this will work, right? But anyway, for now, let's leave it. Let's destructure here itself. So that is auth author, and then date. Simple. And hope that is clear now. Okay, again same thing, right? Something happened, something wrong happened. author and date, right? So if I go to the product, oh, here, that's why. I wrote the mistake. I mean, I gave the mistake, something wrong. AUT is author and then date, right? Yeah, that's the problem. Still, so let's see. That is fine. That is fine. Author equal to author and date equal to date. You pass that. That is okay. What happened? Okay, let's remove this. Let's get the props now. Props and console log props. Something is wrong in the author. Okay, JS products JS 17, right? Let's look at there. By author. So what's the issue now? Okay, look at here, guys. Tell me now what is the problem. I mean, I think I will just restart server one time, right? Sometimes maybe that might be the issue. Okay, let me just quickly restart this. Okay, now there is an issue. I know that one. We just have to change this to author and date. Okay, I put, yeah, sorry, I put this. I have to make sure this file name is JSX. Okay, okay, now there is something props not defined, so it might be the console log, right? That is the one. Okay, yeah. Okay, so the reason was the file name. Okay, that's the file name, right? So if I go back and change again the other way, right? So how you destructure const, and you put, just add these two right here, and then your object name. Okay, so you're gonna use this also, right? You're gonna use this one as well. So let's look at now, and why error occur in author, right? So product div, let's see, props is not defined. Yeah, because I have to pass the props here. Good, because we're gonna receive the props from here, because that props was no more there, and now let's check. Yeah, finally. So say sometimes you just have to keep trying, right? That's what we do. Okay, if there is some issue, just figure out, keep trying, you're gonna find the solution. The point here is, this also work. This is the way you're gonna destructure sometimes. Normally you just do it in the same line, but this is also object destructuring. Okay, fine, we're done with the props, guys. Now let's move to the state. What is the state now in React? What is the state? Anyone? Mohammed, you want to say state? What is state in React?
Can I answer?
Okay, go ahead.
State is used to manage data. So it stores the data and makes it easier for us to reuse it.
Yeah, so that is correct, right? So basically state, state is just to hold your data, right? So in JavaScript, what we have to hold our data, what we use to just hold any data, right? Where you can hold the data in JavaScript.
In an object.
But object is also a data, right? So where you gonna hold data object now? In the memory, right? So what is there something to create a memory now? In JavaScript, what we use to create a memory? Variable, let and const, right? So when you have variable, you can hold any data there. Okay, function is also a object, right? Function can also hold something, but mostly function is, even function we write in a variable, right? So let's for now just take the variable as our placeholder, right, for the data holding. Okay, so we hold our information in variable. The reason is variable is used for creating the memory, so that you can put something there in the memory, and then later in the program we can use that. Means if there is something in the memory down the way in the program, right, you can call that memory, hey A, give me the number, hey B, give me something, right? So we call that memory. Okay, fine. Now in React, right, why we don't use variable? Now there is a problem. See, React is a single page application and we don't want our page to be refresh. We don't want, right? So what React did to solve all this issue, they come up with this something called virtual DOM. Okay, see, we have a DOM, right, in our HTML. When you have HTML, you inspect the page and you see this HTML, all the the HTML tag you wrote, right? So here, if you go to the element, you see all this DOM, that's the DOM, right? Okay, now what React did, when this React page load, in the memory it will create the copy of this DOM. This is a real DOM. They will make a copy now. That is called virtual DOM, right? So every time, so the virtual DOM is also DOM, okay, same, but it's just a copy of the real DOM, okay? Now, when we see, the React came with a different way of storing the variable, right? That is called state now. This is a state where you're going to put your data. And we learned now, right, how we can make a state and all that. So when the state change, when there is something change in state, means state is what? Variable, right? Where is the data? So when the data change in state, the virtual DOM will update in same place, right? In same location, it will just make change. And then the React memory, right, the compiler, whatever it has, it will compare now with the real DOM. So real DOM has something like the name of the person, maybe A, and now in the virtual DOM the name of the person changed to B. So they will compare and they will just switch that particular change, right? Only that change will be updated. That's it. You don't have to go and reload a whole page, right? Don't have to do that. Only that little change will update in the page. It will just quickly change, right? So we will see that example. We'll just experiment that as well. So now we everyone understand, right? State is nothing but the place to store your data. Now the thing is, how you gonna update the data now? So in our JavaScript, we write some function to change the variable somewhere, right? Or we just go a variable a equal to something, we just put the new data. But in React, we don't do that, right? They have the built-in functions in hook, which we use to update the state or the variable. We cannot just go and write something directly, right? You don't do the direct change. We use the function inside the React to do something. So if we go back and let's find, right, the definition of the state, okay? State in React. Okay, let's look at that. Fine. So what is saying now, right? I hope you guys can see clearly. Yeah. So what is the state in Reactjs? The state is built-in React object. See, built-in React object, right? That uses to contain data or information about the component. So about this component, right? State holds the data. Okay. The component states can change over time. So that means the variable can change over time. Whenever it changes, the component re-render. Means only that component re-render means what? It just go back and re-display the information. Okay. Means it's just the function just run, right? When the state change, the function run. Re-render means what? Run again. That is what happened. So let's take one example and learn now, right? Our state. So just remember, state is nothing but the variables in the component which holds data. And there is a way to create a state, and we're going to use one first hook, right? Use state hook to create our state. Okay. So let me close all this quickly. And in here, right, I'm just gonna create what I can create. What I can do? Okay, let's create a counter app, right? Counter app. Simple, everyone gonna use the same example, right? Counter app .jsx always. That was the mistake earlier. Okay, and I'm gonna call this counter app, right, inside I'll just call it maybe just below, straight in the app. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna import here, import counter, right? Counter. Hey. Yeah, because I have not added any code, so it's not gonna run. Just put this some code here and then import now, import counter, and it will figure out, right? Fine. So this is HTML, you know, the counter is what? This is just the function or component which will gonna do something and it will return something, right? So that I'm gonna add here. So that's the container, and inside I have all this product. So just below this, right, I'm gonna create div, and then inside I'm gonna call the counter component. Okay, simple, done. Now if you go back online, right, you're gonna see the counter here. So that's the counter. I mean, I can style something, right? I'm gonna go back and I say class name, and I'll say margin top, make it maybe 20, and margin left ml, right, make it 20. So it should be now somewhere here, right? Clear? Fine. So let's add some information in the counter. So first we learned how you're gonna create state now, right? So use state hook. Now the first is use state hook. So how you gonna get that? So in your React, see, import React, just put comma here, right? And you call it use, start from use. So everything start with use is a hook now, hook, right? There are different kind of hook to do different things. So we call this use state hook, use state hook. That's it. So once you call this, right, what is this now? The hooks are nothing but a function. So let's read the definition of the hook, right? So in our, I think here is something, yeah, let's get back. So you guys can practice this, okay? Just try, right? Here are some examples you can try also in your computer later. There are some examples of the hooks, you know, just experiment. There are a couple of examples. So let's read through this, right? Here, a state of a component is a variable that holds some information that may change over lifetime of the component. We know that one already. When the value of state changes, the component re-render itself with updated value. We know that. There are many hooks in React. All the hooks start with the use, like use, right? We start with use. Example are like use state, use effect. Okay. In React, use state hook is used to add state to the functional component. Okay, see, so the hooks are used in functional component only. So there are class component and functional component. Class component we not learning yet, but we'll check a couple of example in the last, like when we're done, everything is finished, we just look at, right? So you guys can figure out by that time yourself, but we're not gonna right now worry about class component. So it allows you to declare and update the state variable within your component. There is an example of how to use state hook. Okay, so you can import like this. All the hooks you can import like this, right, from the React. So curly bracket and call this function. After that, you're going to use it inside your component, right, like this. Okay, so let's do that now. So in my counter component, I'm gonna use this. So first, see, okay, let's do one thing, right? I will explain now what is this function and what happened, right, when you run this function. So let's call this count equal to, and I'm gonna run this function use state, and I will pass one data, right? So you can pass any value here. Okay, anything you can pass. You can pass number, string, boolean, object, array, whatever, right? You can pass. So I will pass 0 now. So this function, see, this is a function, so you can execute the function. You can do that, no doubt, right? Function name parenthesis. Okay, you pass something here, the data. This is called initial value, like the starting value. Okay, remember in the loop you have like let I equal to 0. The I0 is what? Initial value, right? Similarly, you can give some initial value. Maybe I need object, right, like this, sorry, array to store something. Maybe I might have this object to store something, you know. So remember that. Maybe you're gonna have some string, empty string to hold some data, right, later. For now, I will put 0. Clear? Oh, you can also do true and false. Remember the Boolean value, true and false, right? You can add that also. Best depends on our need now. So I put 0. Let's console log this count, right, and see what we get. What is count now? So let's console log, because we need to understand the result of this function running, you know. Console.log and call the count, right? Count. Simple. Count. So what we're gonna get back here? Anyone guess? So let's go to the console and look at here now. So you are getting this array. The count is now what? Array. That's it. Just understand that this count is what? After running the function, it will give you the array. So that there is 0 on the first element. So index 0, there is 0, right? Okay, so if I put now, and second one is function. That's it. So you're getting back the initial value and function. If I change here 10, now look at here. So initial value is 10 and I have function. Okay, that's it. So that's the thing you have to remember. So useState, when it runs, it gives the array. Can I destructure this now? Const like this, and I put maybe count. So that will be right now count is 10, and I'm gonna have set count now, right? Count, that's it. So this is the way you're gonna write, right? The variable name you call the set. Just put set here and then capital C, whatever the variable name here, right? Count. So this count is the state. It holds the data, right? So right now it is holding 10. Simple. All right. So now I can use this count in my inside my return, right? Inside my component here. So let's go back. I'm gonna put maybe, let's put heading 2, and I will display the count here. Count. Let's say save this. Yeah, so this is a parenthesis, right? When you have multiple line of code, it will just wrap it in the parenthesis like this, and then return, right? That's the returning. So component return HTML JSX, right? That's it. Component just return HTML, nothing else, you know. You just pass some data there and done, right? Okay guys, so let's look at our code now. So result. So see, we're getting 10 right now. 10. Oh, sorry, 0, 0, 0, 0. That's the count, 0. Okay. So we can call it count, right? Count colon and then add the value. So count is 0. Okay. Now we're gonna learn, right? How we're gonna update the count now? Means how you're gonna change the state variable. Okay. How? You want to increase the count? Okay, let's take example of the button, right? And I will call it increase, and also another button, call it decrease, right? Decrease. Okay. So when you have button, what you're gonna do? You're gonna add some event, right? So we will learn about the event also, okay, in the React, how you're gonna use events and all that. I mean, but we know in JavaScript we have on click, on something, on submit, all that, right? So here also you're gonna click the button. So on click. Let's add on click event. There is one event called on click, right? Very, you know, useful, right? Always used all over the place. That's it, on click. So you're gonna do same thing also in here, and click. Okay, now when you click, you need to run the function, right? So you can just call like a handle click maybe, or you can call it increase. Let's call it increase, right? Increase function. Okay, let's call handle increase, handle, handle increase, right, like that, simple. And this will be again handle decrease, handle handle decrease. So these two are the function. I mean, when you click, what you're gonna do, right? You're gonna call something, and in that means when you click, you want to do something. When you do something, that means function, you know, always function, right? So let's call this function and write here. Okay, let's write function, and so that is what you write, you know, function like that. You can do that. Okay, so when this function run, right, you want to increase the count. Okay, that's the function. This function job is, remember we had the initial value and the function, the second one is function. So you're gonna call the second function like set count function and increase the count, right? So count is 0, so I say count whatever in the count plus 1, simple like that. So let's check now, right? Okay, because I have an error, I need to create a function for this so that it will not give me error. So I will put now the arrow function, right, like you know, not always the normal, but let's use arrow function as well. So in this case decrease, so I will do the same thing, set count and put it here and decrease, right, like that. So whatever in the count and minus 1, that's it. So increase, so I click increase, see it is increase, see that it is also console logging count, right? Every time the component runs, so that is printing console log now, see? That means that count component is rendering, right? When I increase, see the only count is changing, nothing else, you know, nothing happening, see? Only these things, even you're not gonna see this refresh, right? No, you're not gonna see that. Only the count is changing, that's it. See, now I got decrease, click decrease, now it's going down, right? Look at there. Okay, see, I hope you guys understand now, right? So that this is how you're gonna use the you're gonna set the variable and then you're gonna do something, right? Okay, and also you can add a reset button, you know, you want to add reset now, so you just call it reset, right? Handle reset. So, you know, simple, you just call this function here, same like this, right? And you call this handle reset, and in that one you just send the 0, you know. So whatever, see, before you passing the number, right, count is what? Count is something here, like right now is 0, maybe it changed, that is the number plus number 1. So you're sending the number. I can just put 0. Reset means what? I just put a 0 here. So my count will become 0. Now see, it is 6, but soon I click the reset, so I will change here. Let's change the reset and make it reset. And when I click the reset, look at, I still have 6, right? But soon I click reset, boom, that count becomes 0. Clear? I can increase, I can decrease. Soon I hit reset, it will be 0. Okay, I think you guys get the idea now, right, about the useState. So let's take one more example, simple example here. Maybe I have one, maybe I have some input, right? Input, okay. So in input you're gonna type something, right? So right now, and then I'm gonna have one paragraph right here to display something, okay? So let's call it let's say name, right? Name. The name, I don't have the name variable, so type name colon something like that. Right now I don't have, so that's why I need to create one state now, right, to hold my name. So I'm gonna call const again. You can create as many state as much, right? So I'll call name and set name, and then equal to useState. Simple. So name will be string, so I'm going to just put the string right now, empty string, right? That's name. Okay, so now there should be no more error, and you see the name here, a type name. See that type name. So when I type, it should update, right? So let's put it side by side. That's very small, but okay. Yeah, so now I want to show you something, right? Side by side. Let's go side by side. Oh, minimize this. So the name in input, what event we can add? What was that? I think unchange, right? Okay, let's do that. Unchange. So when you change something in the input field, I don't know where is our input field, right? I don't see. So it's just below the name here. Yeah, unchange. So when you type, you're gonna do something. So unchange. So I will just put, see what happened, right? When you have all this event, you're gonna have a callback function. You just call the function to do something, right? So I will write a function here, arrow function itself. Okay, like this. You can call it handle change or something, right? So when you type, remember there is an event happen, right? Event, and that event is going to get the value for us, right? And that value we're going to update to our variable here in our name. Right now it's empty string, but we're going to change that, right? So with the set name function. So let's call the set name function. So set name function, right? And it will take event dot target dot value, right? I think you guys know this one. Okay, so let's now type something. So I will say my name is Dave, right? Dave. I am from Mountain Everest, right? Something like that. So you see now, right? It's just typing. See that? Whatever I type is displaying here. Unchanged. So whatever I change in the input field, it just type there. Okay. So I maybe have a form, right? And I can have the unsubmit button or event, and when I fill the form, I submit, and all that input data will be added to the variable, right? All the states. So in that case, I might have the state called object, and inside all that properties, right, like name, email, password, all that will be added to the object. So we will check that also, right, later. I mean, maybe tomorrow. So okay, you guys see now, right, how you're going to use state hook in our GitHub, right? There are some examples, so you can practice. What I want now, you guys can practice all this example. Okay, take a look at this, just read through this and practice, right? So there are a couple of things you can do. Okay, just look at, I think you got the idea now. We did just this one also, right? We have done that. See, you can even hide and show, right, something. See, nice. Try this. So experiment. There are 4 or 5 examples, I believe. Yeah, so see, in the case, right, let's say you have this object, so how you gonna update the object? So you don't update like one value, right? You first read the whole object and then update. So see, set details function, right? You're gonna add again callback function inside this function, and that callback function gonna have previous value as a parameter. So that means whatever here, right? And then in the new object you return, right? Return new object, that gonna have previous value and the new value. If you're changing the name, you just change the name. So everything will be there, age will be there, but the name will be again with the new name, right? So that's how you update the object. Okay, so I will talk about this tomorrow again, and we're gonna start next hook, use effect, another one we'll check, right? So that is one part. Once we learn this one and maybe 1 or 2 more hooks, right, and then we're gonna do I think data fetching and display data rendering, right, list and all that. Okay guys, so I'll keep it here for now. Any question? Just experiment all this, try this, all the example, right, and try to understand the use state hook. Okay, you have any question, any doubt? I mean, if anyone did not understand, let me know, right, on the props and the state and the hooks. So state is what? It's just a variable to hold data, but with the state we have the function also, right, and the function is just to update the state, and when state change it will re-render, right, it just update our component. Okay, I will stop here now.